Okay, this question is not for me, but this is from a fellow writer. Why does craft fail? Like when we were talking in detail, uh, she was saying that in spite of following the techniques, because she's working on something. So, in spite of following the techniques and the craft, purely the craft of writing, she is not able to write. Why does this happen?
You know, there are many writers who are trying to tell people how they should write. Now, these people are talking from their experience. These are the ones who have crossed the bridge and they're showing a path to others who are following them. But it's all depending on their personal experience. That's the best they can do, right? I mean, you can't have an universal knowledge. You can only speak from your experience what worked and what didn't work. But again, that is that individual's experience. For example, that uh, individual writer went to a particular producer 4 times, and that producer decided to give him a chance. You can't replicate it in your life. First of all, you won't find a similar producer. Second of all, you wouldn't be able to write a similar story that would interest that producer. There are so many variables. The point is that no two persons, no two individuals' life is same. If that was the case, everybody would have been Sadhguru Gautam Buddha. Everybody would have been Mario Puzo, because Mario Puzo also had spoken about how his process is and it's been taught and all that. Everybody would have been Quentin Tarantino. You can't be. The point is that I think the only way you should look up to anybody who has led the life that you want to live is just be inspired by it, but not take any lessons from it. Because if you look beyond the surface of all those techniques, formulas, lessons, you will understand that what really made the difference was what they as an individual brought to the table. And that cannot be replicated in your life. It is you as a different individual. Only thing you can do is keep persisting and following it, exploring it. Of course, many people say that, don't reinvent the wheel. For that, yes, you can get a little bit of guidance and all that. But let's say that you have a race car and I have a hatchback, and I'm going to match your speed. What will happen? A hatchback will give up. I can't compare my situations, my surroundings, my life to what you have gone through and what experience you have gained from it and what conclusions, interpretations you have drawn from it and implement it in my life. There is no short way of it working. It works, but it's a random incident. Out of 40 people being taught in a school, two people might find their answers in Sidfield, and two other people might find their answers in Joseph Campbell's Hero's Journey. Others who are reading the same thing might not find their answers because their mind works differently. So, the problem with craft is that it is derived from individual experience, interpretations. It cannot be generalized. And requirement for art is that it has to be personal experience. So you are trying to take someone else's experience, impose it on yourself, and trying to have a personal experience. How will it do?
But is that not the criteria why people are taking up so many writing sessions to learn the craft, to learn the technique, to learn the rules? And still, if they are unable to write, then why is that?
The simplest reason is that in any form of art, there is one element, the missing ingredient, the secret recipe, and that is that individual. Okay? Now, we've been talking about science a couple of weeks back. Now, we spoke about cloning and all that, how science had developed, but it has still not come to a point where it can actually give birth to a human being in a lab. That one process is not yet cracked by science. That has to be the natural process. Everything else science has managed. And that is the thing with the craft. There are set of guidelines, maps, and blueprints you can do, but that one single secret ingredient, you, is what makes the difference to everything else. Now, if I try to be Charlie Kaufman, no matter how much I desire to be, my personality would be different from him. I can pretend to be like him for some time, but eventually there will be a crack, and I'll come back to myself, and that will spoil whatever I'm creating. So, when you are referring to craft, when you are trying to inculcate it into your work, the only thing that you have to remember is that this is a concept by another individual for whom it has worked. For me, for that same set of rules and regulations and norms and techniques to work for me, I'll have to personalize it. I'll have to adapt it and then explore it. I can't blindly copy it. You understand? If I'm blindly copying it, like, it's not something like the TV manual, right? Press the red button, the power will on. It's not a specific concrete thing like a technology. It's human being we are talking about. What that person might have thought at a given moment, what inspirations, uh, experience he has drawn from his life around. If I say today, you know, go out to a beautiful location and mingle with others, travel a lot, and that will help you write well, it's bullshit. It may work for some people, not for everyone. For others, just by sitting in front of a laptop, things would work.
Which is for you.
But the point is, everybody's talking from their experience. It has definitely worked for them. And they, out of all their good intentions, can only do that. Share their experience so that you can take whatever you want from it. And most uh, wise mentors, coaches will always put that disclaimer. Take what you want from it. Don't take everything.
So, to sum it up for my friend,
Mm.
when you use techniques, don't forget to put your soul in.
That's the missing ingredient. Does that answer the question? Or
Yes, it does. It does. Very well does.